When we first started discussing it in Finance Committee, I didn't think it was a possible project for our group to do. I finally said, I don't know how we can do this, but I think we should. And it all worked from there.
On July 10, 1885, the Seventh-day Adventist Church sent Charles L. Boyd, a pastor from Nebraska, to hold a series of evangelistic tent meetings in Vancouver, Washington. And at the conclusion of the tent meetings, they decided to formally organize into a church. 61 years and 2 church homes later, by the summer of 1949, the determined congregation had outgrown its church home. On January 29, 1955, the Vancouver Seventh-day Adventist Church joyfully dedicated their new sanctuary on East Reserve Street.
Not so many of you remember the Reserve Street Church. We, of course, raised our children there.
This church had a lot of children. We went to some of their classes and we decided this was a church for us. We appreciated their spirituality and the friendliness.
Eventually, the Reserve Street Church encountered a familiar challenge.
I remember that it was not a place to do evangelism because we didn't have enough parking.
So I was like 4 or 5 at the time, I think, and I remember hanging out with my friends at the old church, but we'd run around inside and it was just too small.
When you left the church service and you went out into the foyer, you couldn't stay there very long because there were so many people.
Yes, that church was totally inadequate. The first board meeting that my husband attended, they said, "We are thinking of building. What should we do?" So that set the whole trajectory to moving.
So in 1999, the congregation made plans to sell their building and purchase a new property on which to build a new church home.
It wasn't like we had somebody that said, sure, I'll pay half of it for you. It was all the little people in the church doing every bit they could. And, with God's blessing, it all happened.
On September 23, 2006, the Adventist Community Church dedicated its new building on 9711 Northeast St. John's Road, which is where we worship today, with the mission to reach up in worship, deep in discipleship, and out in evangelism.
Other than, the blessing of God, I don't know how that happened. It all meshed.
I believe that this church needed a new facility because they needed a new vision on how to reach the community. And so when 100 people vote to build a church that seats 650 people, that's a vision.
This church, in comparison to the other church, has lots of room.
Trying to fit our whole congregation in, including all of the children's wings, including Pathfinders, that other church would not have been big enough for us.
It's a beautiful building. It's a great place to help spread the gospel. It's just been a great church. You feel good in this church.
Right during COVID, as a church, we were trying to say, hey, what can we do with not only the youth, but with evangelism?
About 3 or 4 people came to me, and independent of each other, they said, why don't we let the youth do it?
Just the very idea of that really spoke to some people.
I will never forget when Noah and Topo sat on stage and said, yay, here we are, welcome to the evangelistic meetings. And then the kids started speaking, and to make the kids the expert, it was awesome, just totally awesome. seen so many lives changed, but I saw God working when the community service center building was falling apart, and God worked in an amazing way putting that community services center together, and it reaches hundreds of people a week.
I would love to see God use this church to journey with people so well that our church is known for helping people become solid and committed disciples of Jesus Christ.
I would love to see God bring a lot more people to help in our young adult children's ministry. The children are the future of our church, and we really, really need that.
This church is growing, and we've got to occupy till Jesus comes.
The future vision of this church isn't that, we built this building, now we can relax. But no, we built this building and there's still a seat that's empty, and we need to go find somebody that will sit there next week. And now we no longer have the anchor of the debt on us. Now we have the ability to step forward with even a greater impact. And that's not just ministry outside the walls, it's ministry inside the walls. But whatever we're doing ministry for the glory of God.